What is your name?
My name is Mitch Behan, but sometimes I'm called Dad or Chef or, Dad a lot.
What does everybody else call you?
Everybody calls me Mitch.
Who is Mitch Behan? How would you explain your sense of self as you stand here today?
I would explain myself as an adventurous human being, a father, someone who has a ferocious appetite to learn things and understand the world.
Were you always this way? When was the biggest shift?
I think the biggest shift I ever had in my life was when I had my heart broken at about 22 years old, and I ended up in a room listening to somebody talking about metaphysics, and that was really when I went, oh my God, somebody's talking about the science of how life actually works. That was, I suppose, one of the beginning shifts and probably one of the biggest shifts.
So what was the old version of yourself like?
I was a drug-taking, alcohol-drinking, powder-snorting, raving lunatic.
Did this have anything to do to getting into PD?
Definitely, being a drug-taking lunatic and a raving, party-goer, definitely went hand in hand with me studying metaphysics, because I was using mind-altering drugs as well as, at the same time beginning this journey in the area of metaphysics, because it was just that age, that time period in my life,
How did you get into the personal development world?
About 1996, I started to work for the Australian Institute of Alcohol and Addiction as I was working on my own addiction, and it was really at that point that it was sitting in a room one day with about 8 different guys in a group, and I just took over the group talking about the changes that were happening in my life, and in that moment I really realised that this was what I was here to do. I was here to speak, and I was here to touch people's lives.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it full bore since about 1996, so just on 21 years at this point.
And in its purest and most simple form, what do you think you're really doing?
I think that I'm really getting people to understand that no matter what has happened in their lives, that they're worthy of love. No matter what has gone on, no matter what their story, it doesn't have to define them. They can be and have whatever they want in their lives, and that they're worthy of love, and ultimately that love is all there is. Everything else is just nonsense.
How do you explain what you do to a stranger?
With great difficulty, but I think at first it was with great difficulty, but now I've kind of honed it down to a succinct statement, and I basically help people who want to get ahead to understand in terms of their thoughts what's holding them back, and then really narrow down to where that thought occurred and get them to find the blessing in that event so that thought doesn't occupy their mind anymore, and show them that in actual fact what they thought was holding them back from that moment was there and designed to enable them and empower them, and I get them to then translate that into their lives, build their vision and their mission, shift any innermost dominating thought that's holding them back, and create the reality that they want.
So why do you do what you do? What's the real reason?
I think because somebody did it for me. Somebody grabbed me at a time when I was falling and sat my ass down and didn't ignore the gorilla in the corner and kept me accountable and said, buddy, if you can create this much of a mess in your life, you can create anything. You're a master creator. The problem is you're just putting the energy into the wrong place. So let's clear up any unfinished business you got going on in your life that's holding you back, and let's help you to create the reality that you're here to create and to fulfill the destiny that you're here to fulfill.
So what part of your job do you wish you could just do all day?
That's easy. It's the part where I sit down with a person and I watch a person just get it. A person who's had something really huge, traumatic happen in their lives, or somebody who's just, wants to know more. To watch a person in that split second just wake up and realize that, they're unstoppable. They are the cosmic breath. They can be and have whatever they want. Understand that they are, master creators. That is the one thing that I would do over and over and over and over and over again, and that I'm very blessed to get to do.
So what sucks and why?
I think what sucks is the part that people, I think, look, what sucks is that people are out there and they don't realize that the things that have occurred in their lives are actually there to define them. So there's a part of me just wants to shout to the world, listen, you lot, you know, everything that you think is holding you back is actually designed to get you to fulfill your dreams and aspirations. Everything that you think is stopping you is actually there to enable you. So I think that that's the message, you know. I think that people need to understand that and know that.
What comes first? Business, family, money, toys, or social?
Well, for me, everything is kind of interwoven. You know, everything is one. I think ultimately though, you know, as I say to everybody, you got to take care of yourself first. So Mitch comes first and making sure that Mitch is fit and healthy and his mind is clear and that he has a clear focus on his vision. That's really important. And then I suppose it would be my family, and then it would be probably, you know, the business, and then probably money, and then probably toys. So that's how I think it might roll. But it just depends on what's happening at that point in time within my life. But it's very, you know, Mitch is very important. Family is very important to me.
So what happened in your life for you to have that value system?
I think that when I first got it, I realized that there was no way life had shown me this experience unless it wanted me to do something with it. So then I realized in that moment that if I was the vessel for helping to deliver that to the world, then I had to take care of this vessel. I had to be able to make sure that I was watching out for number one. And then as you know, at the time I thought, well, people are going to think that that's selfish. But in actual fact, the greatest thing I've been able to impart onto people is to get them to put themselves first. You don't know what anybody else thinks of you, and you can't worry about it. You've got to be really, really concerned about what you think of yourself, and know that when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, that you're able to be straight with yourself, and when you go to bed at night, that you're able to be straight with yourself as you look in the mirror.
How involved is your family in your business?
How involved is my family in my business? I really don't see a separation between my family and my business. You know, this is a part of our life. You know, everything that we do with our organisation is a part of helping us fulfil our dreams and aspirations. You know, I see that we're all just one unit. I don't really, and I try not to separate it. You know, I don't take business home, and I don't bring home into business. Because I don't think there is that line, and I hope that makes sense. It's just all one.
So what is your wife Angela's most important role in the company?
Angela's most important role in the company is keeping us all accountable. You know, Angela is really, really good at sitting us down and helping us to mediate when we're facing challenges, either with each other or outside of the organisation, to help us to be really, you know, really clear about, okay, this is what we're here to do. Don't get caught up in this nonsense over here. We're here to do this. This is what's important, and we have to, you know, we have to stand in what we know is right and correct. And Angela's really, really good at doing that with us.
How many seminars have you done in the last year?
Too many seminars in the last year, I think. No, you can never do too many seminars. I think, you know, I used to live a life where we used to just pump out seminars all the time. And now that I got a young family, you know, we've kind of narrowed it down. So I probably would have done about maybe 18 seminars by the time we get to the end of this year.
How many graduates and attendees have you seen in total in that time?
Never enough. Let me see. Graduates, I probably in this year will see between 7,000 to 8,000 people.
What does that number mean to you?
Well, it's very humbling. I mean, I get to affect 7,000 to 8,000 people's lives directly, face to face. You know, that's really, really magic for me. That's what it's all about.
So what do your clients really experience here? What's really going on for them?
Well, I think every single client that comes to see us has a knowing that there's more to life and than what they've already created or experienced. They know that outside their present history there's more mystery, and they want to be able to get there. So people who come to see us generally have an awareness that there's unfinished business holding them back. There's thoughts and concepts running their life that they want to get rid of, and there's a life that they actually want to create. So that's really why they come to see us. They get that if they were going to create the life that they want to, they would have done that by now. So they're wise enough, intelligent enough, and smart enough to know that there is something holding them back, and they want to sort that out, and then they want to have their hand held and be coached and get clear about what they want to actually create and how to get there.
So what are some of the typical questions you'd ask people to know if they're in their own way, stuck, or on their way?
That's a very simple answer. And it is that I would get them to ask themselves, was yesterday the greatest example of their creative capacity? Were they totally satisfied with what they created yesterday? And if their answer to that is no, you can be guaranteed that they have ahead of them a satisfaction that they're going to be able to quench as long as they stop and look and ask themselves, why wasn't it? What do you think you're getting wrong? And where do you think that that's stemming from, whatever it is you think you're getting wrong?
What's the most misunderstood aspect of the work you do, and why?
Everybody thinks that doesn't understand or doesn't listen and doesn't get the concept. Everybody thinks that we're all about positive thinking and saying that something that happened to you was really positive. And in actual fact, that's not what it's about at all. What we're saying is that whatever occurred to you, you can do with it whatever you like. But perhaps no matter what has occurred to you, there's a way of realizing that no matter what has occurred in your life, it was designed to enable you and empower you. And the thing that you think is holding you back is actually giving you everything you require. And when you stop and get that realization, it's way beyond positive thinking or happiness. In actual fact, when you get that realization, you feel very humble and awake and aware and empowered and enlightened and whole.
Why do you think there's a stigma around the personal development industry?
Well, because I think, the PD industry has evolved over time. We're at a point in time now where we have access to extraordinary information, through neuroscience. We can understand how the brain operates. And science is bridging the gap between philosophy and religion. And science now shows us that we are literally limitless in what we're able to create and do. But I think over time, what happened was there were lots of these PD people around in the world spouting out these really, really fantastic one-liners, getting people to chase this illusion of you can get it, you can have. But people are habitual human beings. They were caught in a rut and a cycle, and because of this, the information that they had at the time was good, but it wasn't correct. It wasn't, getting people the result that they actually want. And I think people, in terms of their results and what they want, they have to be held accountable. They have to have the correct information. The proof has to be in the pudding, and the results have to speak for themselves. And a lot of the time, there's a lot of misconceptions out there about work and about PD work. And a lot of the information that's out there was old. It was not correct. It was good for its time period, but it's not what is actually available now. The technology that's available now to shift a person's mindset and help them create their reality is unquestionably profound and getting the results that people actually want.
Why do you think change is so hard?
Well, I think the problem with change is that change plays into the illusion that something was wrong. And my point is that you can't change anything in your life. When you're trying to change something in your life, it's because you think there's something wrong. What if there's nothing wrong? What if, in actual fact, everything that's occurred in your life was designed to enable you and empower you? What if, and when you understand that, you let go of the concept of change and you actually transform. And transformation is an inside job. It's something that has to occur inside of you. It's not something that happens out here. So change is to try and fix something in the outer world. Transformation is something that occurs inside of you, and the outer world adapts.
What should people do before they attend any kind of personal development seminar? What should they be looking for or pay attention to? I'm really, really select about who I let into my head. And I'm really select about, the energy of the person that I'm going to see. I need, it's important for me to know that the person is trialed and tested, that their information is science-based and science-backed, that it's not airy-fairy one-liners. And generally, the person's history and their success rate will tell you that.
Most people go to the internet for that sort of stuff, but the problem there is that a lot of it is jargon. You got bloggers and you got trolls and all sorts of stuff on there. So the human development industry and the personal development industry has suffered a lot from that end of things. But you can go to YouTube, you can watch videos, you can see proper testimony from Facebook. You can read their books, listen to their audio, and you'll feel when it fits. And you'll know inside of yourself, this is a fit or it's not a fit. But use your internal self to gauge that. If it fits, you'll feel it. If it doesn't, you'll also feel that.
How would you describe your relationship to your team?
Well, I think my relationship to my team has grown over time. And, I used to come from this is how you do business, and I'd leave a burning trail of people behind me. But I think now, I have a very deep appreciation of the people that I get to work with. And that's a maturity thing, that you have a deep appreciation, because it wasn't, I realized that people loved me, but what they also really loved and really believed in was the process. And what they really loved and really believed in was the results, that we were seeing in the people that were coming through the programs. And, when I watched that light them up and like the tribe up and like the staff up, that's when I know, I got the right people around us. That's what it's about.
Have you had any clients turn into lifelong friends?
I definitely have clients turn into lifelong friends, but I meet people that we worked with 15 years ago, that'll run up in a shopping centre, go, Mitch, and you're like, hey, and you give them a big hug. And so, I think everybody that comes through the program in some way is a lifelong friend. It's the shopping mall thing. You're always, if you got a stand at a till and you got 2,000 people coming past your till every day, you're not going to please everybody. That's normal. But our objective is always to say, we're here for you the whole time. Even if I meet you in 20 years' time, just anything I can do to help. I'm a firm believer in reciprocity. The quicker you assist another human being, the quicker you get assisted. So, I hope that answers your question.
So what's next for you personally?
I think, I'm going through a real growth phase with my family at the moment. I have some very young kids. We're going through a huge growth phase with the organisation and with the business globally. And my objective is to have people from different parts of the world coming over to experience relationships and the equilibration process. That's really what we're really have our knuckling down to making sure that we achieve.
I'm going to ask that question again. What's next for you personally?
Okay, am I all business? Okay, what's next for me personally? Well, if I really think about it, what's next for me personally? If I really think about it, it's not about what's next. I don't think there is a next. It's I just want to keep growing. I just want to keep educating myself. I want to keep getting fitter and healthier, being a better father, being a better tribe member. That's really what inspires me. There is no next. I'm already doing it. I'm already on the journey. I'm already getting there.
And what's next for MJB Seminars?
Conquer the world. What's next for MJB Seminars? I mean, I think we have the release of a book coming out. We have a documentary being made. We're traveling to different parts of the world. We're refining our programs all the time. We're reaching more people. But ultimately, I want people to come from different parts of the world to come and do this. I want people to fly from England, from Korea, from Asia, from Eastern European countries, from Africa, from the US. What we have here is really unique. It's highly successful and it gets the results. And I think the world just needs to know it. So my long-term vision is that beyond my lifetime, this thing revolutionizes psychology, psychotherapy, human development, and it's steady as she goes and steady as she grows.